New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Hello, and welcome. Welcome to New Thought Media Network, and I am Reverend Lisa Williams, and today is February 24th of 2021, and I am here to share some good spiritual conversation with you. I'm here to inspire and ignite your inner dazzle. So what we're here to do today is we have a half-hour program, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about what is an inner dazzle. So yeah, you ask, what is an inner dazzle? So an inner dazzle it's that light that's within you that knows everything. It's that part of us that is harmony and prosperous. It's all the great qualities that we want to have, like, joy and love and happiness and peace. All of those great things that we aspire to be and do are within us. So the great thing is that as we take the time to tap into our inner dazzle, then we can express it into the world. And so that's what I'm here to do, is to share that and tap into that with you, because you have an inner dazzle and so do I. So we're here to talk a little bit about our inner dazzle today. So I'm here also to just support and love you and encourage you. And I also offer spiritual coaching, lots of opportunities for us to get together and connect if you're having any issues or challenges, or you just want to make a shift and see yourself doing bigger and better things, and you want to find your purpose in life. I'm here to help you, and I'm here to support you in doing that. So welcome, and thank you so much for joining me. Hello out there. Hi there in Facebook land and YouTube. So good to see you guys here, and thank you for joining me here on New Thought Media Network. So what this month's theme is love. So as you know, it is February, the month of love. So we've been talking all month about different aspects of love. So we started out back a few weeks ago, talked a little bit about Valentine's Day and different ways that you can express love. We also then moved into last week, we talked about self-love. And that was definitely, I think, to me, that's one of the most important things, is self-love and how do we love ourselves. And so one of the experientials that we did was actually taking a mirror and saying, I love you. Have you guys ever done that? Have you ever just stopped to say, I love you into a mirror? I invite you to do that. It's an interesting experience to see how you respond to that, and how do we love ourselves. So last week was about self-love. And the quote, there was something cute that I want to read. Today, last week was a focus on self-love, and there's nothing more important than self-esteem and loving yourself. This week, we're going to talk about love in different concepts. We're going to talk about love in our relationships. So not only do we have that relationship with ourselves, we have many relationships as we are out and about in the world. Many of us have families, and there's all sorts of different ways to express ourselves and to express love in our relationships. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So I have a quote for you. Sorry, I keep looking at, I have some notes over here. So the quote that I have for you today is, our most basic emotional need is not to fall in love, but to genuinely be loved by another. To know that love grows out of reason and choice, not instinct. I need to be loved by someone who chooses to love me, who sees in me something worth loving. And that quote is by Gary Chapman. And he is the author of this book, The 5 Love Languages. Have you guys heard of this book? You could chat yes or no. I love to talk a little bit with you. So if you're feeling brave, you can certainly chat with me in the chat box. I love to talk with you. So we have a little book, and we're going to just go a little bit through this. The 5 Love Languages. This book is really powerful. I use this book as one of the sessions in my premarital coaching that I do. So one of the many things that I do besides being a minister, I do wedding ceremonies. I officiate wedding ceremonies. So one of the ways that I do when I work with my clients, with my wedding clients, is we go into the love languages. So we're going to talk a little bit about those today. The 5 love languages, you can use them with your partner. You can use them with children. You can use them with your coworkers, your friends. The cool thing about love languages is that we all have one that's our primary, and then there's some that kind of go with it. So the 5 love languages, there are 5 different ways of expressing and receiving love. The 5 ways starts with words of affirmation. The second one is quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. So those are the 5 of the 5. That not everyone communicates love in the same way. So, and likewise, people have different ways that they prefer to receive or give love. So I want to just touch on all of those, and then at the end we'll do a little something. So the 5 love languages, this is by Gary Chapman. Definitely check it out. It's great for any relationship that you have. I highly recommend this. This is something that we all need. So I think everybody should check it out. So the 5 love languages. So the first love language is words of affirmation. So as you can guess, what would that be about? Words of affirmation. So I'm just going to read a little short thing from Gary Chapman. He talks about Mark Twain. He says, Mark Twain said once, "I can live 2 months on a good compliment." I like that. He says, if we were to take Twain literally, 6 compliments a year would have kept his emotional love tank at the operational level. One way to express love emotionally is to use words that build you up. So can you think of any words and this goes for yourself, I believe. I just bring that in because I feel like self-love and appreciation is just as important as with everybody else. So verbal compliments, words of appreciation, they're powerful communicators of love. They're best expressed in simple, straightforward statements of affirmation. You can think of, there's many ways where you can talk about love languages. We're talking about love languages today, if you just tuned in. And this is really powerful stuff. He goes on to say, the object of love is not getting what you want, but doing something for the well-being of the one you love. It is a fact, however, that when we receive affirming words, we are far more likely to be motivated to reciprocate. So if you think about that, does that work for you? Do you like hearing nice things, compliments, or do you kind of feel uncomfortable about it? Or, how do you feel about it? Like, how does it work in your life? Do you feel like you're the one that likes to give compliments, or do you like to receive compliments? I kind of feel, I enjoy getting compliments, but I'm not as comfortable with that. I'm kind of like, okay, I have to try to take it in. And sometimes it's like, but I enjoy giving compliments. Like, I really like to tell people, you look beautiful today, or your hair looks great, or, whatever it is. Like with my daughter, of course, I always tell her she's beautiful and smart and funny and, all those wonderful ways to compliment somebody. So that's the first love language. First love language is the words of affirmation. So second one, love language number 2 is quality time. How are you about quality time? Do you is spending time with yourself, can be quality time with yourself, or with a loved one? Is that important to you? So quality time, that's love language number 2. And he says, by quality time, I mean giving someone your undivided attention. I don't mean sitting on the couch watching TV. Do you ever find yourself doing that, like with your partner, or if you're in a relationship? You're like hanging out watching TV, which is fine to relax and hang out. But we really need that time when you can really connect with each other. So it's not about just sitting around watching TV. He says, I don't mind watching TV on the couch. He says, what I mean is sitting on the couch with the TV off. Have you ever done that? Looking at each other, talking, and giving each other your undivided attention. Have you ever done that? Have you ever, one of the things that makes me think of is when you go out to a restaurant, do you guys ever go out to a restaurant and you just in people watching, like I don't know, whoever you're with, sometimes it's kind of fun to people watch. And I'll look over and you can always tell, like if somebody's on a date and the way that they are responding and kind of their body language to each other. And they're usually most always like have eye contact with each other. You know, do you ever do that? Like have eye contact with each other? It's little, but it's really important. And I always say that in my counseling, my coaching with my wedding clients. You know, do you connect with others and how do you do it? So yeah, it could be also maybe taking a walk, you know, where you just can be together, like you don't have any other distractions going on. It could also be the two of you going out to eat. Yeah. I mean, that was the other thing that I said. He wrote about that. Yeah. So that's two ideas as far as two is quality time. So think about in ways that you can spend quality time with yourself, number one, and number two, with your significant others, your spouse, your children. So important to spend time with our children because they just love and need our affection and our time. The one-on-one time is so important. You know, I always say, put the cell phone down. I have to be very conscious about it. Put my cell phone down and just focus on my daughter and what she's saying to me and what we're talking about. A central aspect of quality time is togetherness. I do not mean proximity. Togetherness has to do with focused attention. So it's something so important, so important. Okay, number 3. So we are talking about the love languages with Gary Chapman, and we are in love language number 3. It's receiving gifts. Receiving gifts. So the love language number 3, receiving gifts. So he talks about he did studies around the world, and he talks about anthropologists that are enamored by cultural patterns that tend to pervade cultures, and so was I. He says, could it be that gift giving is a fundamental expression of love and transcends culture barriers? So that's what he found out and he discovered on his journeys, that when he traveled worldwide, is learning that gifts do make a difference. And for many people, gift giving is their love language. Now, he goes on to say that gifts can come in all colors and shapes and sizes, all different things. Can be expensive, but they can also be free. To the individual whose primary love language is receiving gifts, the cost of the gift will matter little, unless it's greatly out of line, which that you can afford. So it's up to you. So that's the thing, you know, think about gifts. So do you know anybody in your relationships that is like a gift giver, or do you like to receive gifts? Is that the way that you feel loved and appreciated? So if you think about that, just think about it for a minute. Do I enjoy receiving gifts? I enjoy receiving gifts, but it's not my thing. Sometimes I'm more uncomfortable. I'd rather give a gift than receive a gift. So it just depends on who you are and how you operate. So what does that mean for you? He goes on to say, if your person's primary love language is receiving gifts, you can become a proficient gift giver. In fact, it is one of the easiest love languages to learn. So I've taken time to study that. In a recent relationship that I'm in, he definitely enjoys gifts. So it's something that I've had to become, more attuned to in taking time to figure out what the gifts might be that he likes and what are the things that he appreciates, and ways to express that to him. So it definitely takes a lot of time. I think it takes time and energy to just focus on, what kind of gifts do they like and what do they appreciate? Sometimes I think another way too is it might be a little note. It might be a little love note or something. I mean, I think that's always something that's appreciated because It's a constant way of reminding a person that they're important to you and that you care about them. So that is another way to look at that. And then the last little piece he says is, gifts need not to be expensive, nor must they be given weekly. I'm sure you're happy about that, because sometimes we can't really do that. But for some individuals, their worth has nothing to do with the monetary value, but everything to do with love. So I really like that piece. Their worth has nothing to do with monetary value, but everything to do with love. So that's what we're focusing on, the love languages. Like the third love language, giving gifts. Are you a gift giver? Or are you a gift receiver? Which one do you prefer? Let me know in the chat. I love talking to you guys and finding out more about what's going on with you guys and how I can support you. Or if you have any questions, certainly tune in and let me know if I can support you in any way. Okay, we're going on. So as we're looking at the love languages, we're in love language number 4, acts of service. So acts of service. What would you think acts of service might be? Acts of service. So I always think of acts of service. The first thing that comes to my mind is like a honey-do list. Like, oh, well, can you do this and that and the other thing? And can you clean up and whatever, all that kind of stuff. Well, that necessarily isn't exactly what Gary Chapman's talking about here. But what I figured out as I read through, he's talking about the idea of acts of service. It's not just doing the stuff, cleaning, cooking, whatever, shopping, or, whatever little chores or something that it might be. That's one way of acts of service. There are plenty more. What he says, the most important thing is it's about the way that we do it. So it's the way that we do these acts of service. That's the important thing, because the idea behind it is, how do we feel when we do these acts of service? How does it make you feel? And then how does it make the other person feel? So the idea is that the person that is asking you to do the thing is because they want more love. They want to experience more love. When you show acts of service, I almost said acts of kindness, but that goes with it. That is the big way to experience and express that. And one of the examples that Gary Chapman talks about is Jesus. Jesus did many, many wonderful things, as we all know. It says that Jesus gave a simple but profound illustration of expressing love by acts of service when he washed the feet of his disciples. In a culture where people wore sandals and walked on dirt streets, it was customary for the servant of the household to wash the feet of the guests when they arrived. Jesus, who has instructed his disciples to love one another, gave them the example of how to express love when he took in the basin and the towel and proceeded to wash their feet. After that simple expression of love, he encouraged his disciples to follow this example. So what examples can you think of? Let me know in the chat. Let me know what you think. What ideas would you have as far as what acts of service you could do for another, for somebody that you love, or for yourself? What are some acting in kind in a way that would be honoring yourself? I'll tell you one of the things, new thing that I've started as I am getting on a better eating plan. That's something that I've taken on. I'm trying out the paleo. I'm going to give that a try and see if that is acts of service that I can provide myself with love and attention, because that's something that I need, is to focus on eating better, eating healthy. So what are some other ways? There are many, many ways to show and share acts of service. Okay, we're almost done. So we're moving on. Oh, he says, this is the important thing. When I talked about it's the way that you do the acts of service, requests given, oh, this is really good. Requests give direction to love, but demands stop the flow of love. Let's see that one more time. Requests give directions to love, but demands stop the flow of love. So think about the way that you are acts of service or acts of service. How do you do it? Think about that. You requesting or are you demanding? Something definitely to think about. Okay, we are at number 5, love languages, Gary Chapman. It's fantastic stuff. You guys check it out. So the love language number 5 is physical touch. Physical touch. So there's definitely different ways to express physical touch when we're communicating or connecting with ourselves and with others, with our partners, with our friends, with our children, with our coworkers. Many different ways that we can express that. So it's definitely something to consider because it is a love language. And the thing is about the love languages is that when you can come from a higher consciousness level of really thinking about what am I doing? What am I thinking? What am I saying? How am I acting? That is raising the level of your consciousness. And when we raise the level of our consciousness, it allows for our inner dazzle to shine because we are coming from a place of love. We're coming from a place of joy. We're coming from a place of just expressing love and appreciation for another person. So when we come from that perspective, when we come from our heart, we come from that inner dazzle, that place of inner dazzle that knows how to be and how to act. All things are possible. I always talk about that. And I say, with God, all things are possible. That's just one of my favorite quotes because when we come from that perspective, that's what we get. That's what we get. Higher consciousness, thinking, being aware of how we're acting and being. Okay, 5th love language is the last one. Physical touch. So you can use your imagination in ways to gently touch yourself or another through hugs, obviously. Hug or high five. It could be a high five. A lot of times different age groups like different responses. Like teenagers, of course, are a little more standoffish, I would say, to some degree. So when I was in youth ministry, we would always do either fist bump, we would do high five, we would do sometimes it just thumbs up, lots of different things like that. With children, of course, it's different. And of course, with your own children, of course, I just snuggle mine and love her dearly. Just snuggle her up every chance I get, even though she's 12 now. And she's starting to get a little bit teenish, a little tween going on. But I still can love her and give her affection and love. I think it's definitely important to think about what ways that we can do that. He says, Gary Chapman says, we have long known that physical touch is a way of communicating emotional love. Numerous research projects in the area of child development have made the conclusion that babies who were held and hugged and snuggled and kissed develop a healthier emotional life than those who are left for long periods of time without physical contact. So there is scientific proof that the physical touch is so important and so necessary in our lives. Definitely important, very important for us to do. Let's see. Right, I think that is all I have. Okay, so that's it. So it's a matter of just using your mind, using your thoughts, using your creativity, as I was mentioning, to figure out what love languages work for you. It's definitely something to check out. So what I want you to do, if you go to, I have coming up, so the experiential today is going to be for you to go to the 5lovelanguages.com. Go to this website. This is Gary Chapman's 5 Love Languages. Take that quiz. It's a short little quiz. You can take it online. It's super fast. It's free. You can just take the love language quiz and find out what your love language is. And then if you have a spouse, a partner, get them to do the same thing. And then also get your child to do it. Get your children to do it, because it's really fascinating to discover and find out what our love languages are, because they are so crucially important in our lives and in our connection and communion. And as I was saying before, as we express and come from that place of love, as we let our inner light shine, we let our inner dazzle shine, we know that that is the perspective that we want to come from when we talk about and use 5 love languages. These are some great, really fantastic tools for you to use. So definitely check that out. So that's your experiential. And then when we come back next week, I want you guys to tell me how that went for you. So we will be back here next week. Wednesday at 1 o'clock, you'll also see me. I also do many of the prayers. We have the 8:15 a.m., 8:15 p.m. prayers coming up for you also on New Thought Media Network. We also would like to invite you to, if you were so inspired, go up above in the link you'll see there, or I think we're going to put it on here, newthoughtmedianetwork.org. If you go there, we would love for you to donate your tithes and gifts to us, because these all help this ministry grow and grow and grow. So New Thought Media Network really appreciates and supports it. You can contact me at lisa@innerdazzle.com if you have any questions or you want to connect and do some spiritual coaching sessions. I am available and here for you. Thank you so much for coming. You can also donate to my ministry on Venmo at RevLisa1. That's the way that I keep my ministry rolling and keep things going. So we appreciate it. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's see what else. I think that's about it. And then, of course, you can go to New Thought Media Network. We have lots of wonderful different things going on. We have some great shows. We have a variety of talk shows and all kinds of things going on. So check that out as well. Thank you so much for being with me here today. And I would say that this time together is a celebration of your personal empowerment. Leave them dazzled by your presence. Thank you and blessings. Bye for now.